Hey everyone, welcome to the Worship Artistry podcast. I'm Jason.
I'm Nick.
Nick, I feel like it's been a while.
It has been.
Since we've sat down on these couches.
I know, I think it's been a couple of weeks, actually.
What's been going on?
Well, as of the shooting of this, it was Labor Day weekend. My wife decided to leave me. She, just for a few days, actually. So
okay.
She's coming back tonight. I'm very excited.
I was like, you're going to just drop that on me when we first sit down?
Man, it's been emotional. I've just been everywhere. Like, she left, I was excited, and then I was like, oh, I miss her so much. But she's coming back. She's got her flight's been delayed a lot, but it's been a lonely weekend for me. Just me and the dogs.
There is that arc, right, where you're kind of like, I can do whatever I want.
Yes.
I can eat whatever I want. I can watch any movie I want. And then you're like, I'm so bored.
I'm so bored. Yeah, my wife hates hot dogs, and I bought so many of them.
I'm sure you feel amazing.
I don't. I feel very bloated, and I was like, what? Get this demon out of me, Jesus.
Your wife's been saving your life the whole time.
She has been, yeah. I'm actually pretty confident that's how my dad died. So, too many hot dogs. It's actually pretty true. We do think that.
Public service announcement, I guess, avoid the hot dogs?
Avoid the cheap ones.
Yeah, so maybe you need to stop eating them also.
Yeah, I just love them, though.
No?
They're so
worth
good.
it.
They're worth it. Well, anyway, how was your weekend? Or how's the last few weeks been for you, man?
Man, it's funny because you said emotion, and I'm like, I feel like it's been a very emotional couple of weeks for me because I dropped off Bjorn, my oldest, at college for the first time. And then today I just dropped off my ninth grader, his first year in
my ninth grader. Yeah. Wow.
The last one, he's just dropping him off his freshman year of high school. I don't know, like first day of school kind of stuff. I always it's like a marker of like, oh, time is moving, time is passing, and my kids are leaving. So if I just start crying,
I just missed her.
And then he just said goodbye.
Goodbye.
Oh my God.
I can't believe he did that. It's okay.
I'm emotional, but actually it kind of works out because today we're actually talking a little bit about emotion.
That's true.
People think a lot about emotion in worship, and there's kind of like a pressure to perform emotion,
right?
Both for the band as well as for the congregation. And so we kind of have like 3 points that we're going to hit. We're going to be organized today.
That's right. So the pressure to perform passion is kind of like the idea of all this. And then the first question that I'd come up with for this is, I don't raise my hands. Does that make me less spiritual?
Sure. No. Yes. Maybe.
We don't know. We're going to talk
about
That's
when we
right.
get to the point.
That's right, yeah. But the second point is
the song catalog the problem?
And then moving to the third one, we are going to be discussing
is going to be how to find passion when you don't necessarily feel it.
So let's talk about it. I don't raise my hands, so does that make me less spiritual? Let's start there. I mean, right now, you seem very spiritual to me.
Are you not?
I mean, right.
I mean, I'm always raising my hands.
All right, kind of do this, I guess.
That's how you know I'm spiritual.
I was taught to hold my bowl. Fill my bowl.
Fill the cup.
Fill the cup. There you go.
You've got a bowl.
Yeah,
it's big.
It's a big bowl.
Okay, but you don't raise your hands.
I personally don't. I have, but it was more so, again, this pressure to perform passion. It was because everyone else was doing it, and I felt like I didn't feel as if God was with me in that, or I don't know, honestly, but like what I do know is that silly when we say after a worship set or concert or whatever, worship night, that, man, God really showed up. Man, we were worshiping like crazy. Well, where two or more are gathered, he's around.
He's already there. He's shown up already.
So maybe...
Question is, did we show up?
That's right. That's a good question. And so I know all of these things. I know he's there. I know it's not like my fault, so to speak, but like everyone is doing it but me. So I do feel this performance like kind of thing to have this passion about my worship. And even a long time ago, a campus pastor at a church I worked at was like, dude, I loved you, man. And then I saw you worship and I was like, gosh, that guy's dead inside. I was like, what?
How could you tell?
Well, what are you talking? I was like, I was freaking going nuts, dude.
Yeah.
I was like swaying. Yeah, you didn't. I was going nuts just then. So it's there's different levels of it, and like if you don't raise your hand anymore, I don't care. But I used to really care about it. I was like, gosh, these people when I was leading worship, if they didn't raise their hands or they weren't singing or had their eyes closed or some people crying, I was like, I've not done my job well, and I'm about to be fired.
Yeah.
And how ridiculous is that? Like, why do we have this emotion in worship?
Well, like this expectation, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't. Sometimes I think it comes down to insecurity.
Ooh,
if you think about, if I'm leading worship, I want people to be responding. I want to be doing this thing together.
Yep.
And I can feel good as a worship leader if everybody's being very expressive.
Sure.
Right.
Yep.
Nailing it. Oh,
Yep.
we are
killing it.
God is here.
Yes.
And not everybody is that expressive. It's kind of funny. Like we get this idea, I think all kind of those big churches.
Yeah.
Right. When you look at the social media, there is always it's people on their knees
for
crying or it's hands raised. We always see that.
Yep.
And I think those are great. And I've been in those environments.
Yep.
I've always found that it's a response to something I'm experiencing in that moment. That's like it's a very natural response for whatever reason. Usually it's because something for me very emotional is happening or something kind of different is happening. I'm sensing God in a different way. Yeah, God has been there, but like it's almost tangible, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And so I'm responding in that way. But that's not always the case, right? And so I think I've also been in environments where there's almost that pressure to it's like fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Get those hands up and then eventually you'll feel it.
Eventually, it's going to be great.
But to me, that really feels like manufacturing something, like almost like we have to conjure the Holy Spirit, or we have to have this, that the worship experience always needs to be the same.
Yeah.
And so I think as a worship leader, if I am looking at those markers and saying, this is what worship is, then I'm putting that expectation on other people that maybe isn't fair.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because ideally, I'm not the one that's creating that.
Right.
Right. That's their natural response.
You said fake it to make it. Do you think ever there's an instance where we should fake it to make it? The reason why I ask, I guess, is a church I worked at was like almost like their motto, like just this is their mantra, just fake it to make it. And I remember hearing that, and I was like, I don't know if I've ever heard that in the context of a church as like the pastor or the leader or whatever. And I was like, I like that. And then I thought about it and I was like, I don't like that actually. Fake it to make it. I was like, so all of these interactions I've had with these other pastors here are fake? Just so they could make it through this? Or what are we doing here? So I guess, when I think of that in the context of worship, I think it's horrible to say fake it to make it. Just fake it so like, these people can have a good time watching you worship.
I think of worship as when I think about the worship gathering. Okay. Sure. So when we're gathering together to sing together. Yep. Right. Like I do think our posture matters. Right. So sometimes it's just an act of obedience and discipline. It's like, I don't want to be here. I was out till 2 a.m. last night. I was at a concert and now I'm here at 8 a.m. and I don't really want to be here and I'm very tired.
Right.
But let's go.
Let's do it.
Right. Like I still think that's worshipful. Like I don't think that's less worshipful.
Sure.
I think you're being obedient in that moment. Sometimes, you really do feel it. I mean, there are times when there's certain songs we sing, I can barely get through them because the truth of it hits me so hard and I start crying and I have to back away from the microphone.
Has anyone ever like said anything like, hey, Jason, I don't think you should cry from stage?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so. They'd probably be like, you should cry more. That's more of a, I'm not a big like out loud crier, but it'll just be kind of like, it'll be backing away from the mic for a second.
Jason's he's getting tearful.
You guys do this.
Sing this for me, please. Yeah.
And I think it's really awesome that there are songs like that and there are moments like that. Yeah. Sometimes it hits me out of nowhere.
Sure.
There was one time I was teaching a song on worship artistry and the lyrics of the song hit me so hard. I was sitting in front of the camera. I just started weeping.
Wow.
And I was just done for a while. It was like, I guess this is what God is doing right now. So I need to be aware of that. But if I'm expected to do that every time, if I'm expected to be emotional, if I'm expected to perform, passionately that way every time. Like, well, I am just going to be faking it. And like you said, people notice. People know when it's not real.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
And then I'll tell you what, when it hits, everybody also notices because they're like, oh, wow, that doesn't happen every week.
That's the real deal. So speaking of like, I don't raise my hands. Does that make me less spiritual? So now from like, that's your perspective, like the me. So from like the congregation, the audience, whatever you want to call them, the attenders, if they don't raise their hand, is that a you problem as the leader? Is that a spiritual problem as a church? What do you think?
I think confining it to raising hands even is just kind of like some places don't do that at all.
So I guess let's make it more broad than just movement in general, reaction.
Sure, kind of like
anyway, just like some type of I'm crying or I'm on my knees.
Or, engagement, right? Where you're like, oh man, something deeper is happening here than us just all sitting and singing songs. Right. I think some of that is an invitation to the congregation, like my church they're not a bunch of hand raisers, but sometimes, I'll say like, hey, let's all open our hands and just like tell God we're open to him now.
Sure.
If I naturally sit like this all the time, there's nothing wrong with that. Sure. Right. But sometimes that posture can show that I'm more close. I'm just kind of observing. Sure. Right. And I don't want to just observe. And so sometimes being willing to move or being willing to be in a certain posture can kind of, I think, open your heart up. I even think that's what our songs do, right? We sing words that we don't necessarily mean in that moment, but we're hoping that gets in our soul and becomes something. And so I don't necessarily look around and go, oh, nobody's paying attention or nobody's passionate about this. Sure. Because we all have the story of the guy in the congregation. You're like, I think he hates me. Yeah, right. And then he comes up afterwards and he's like crying and he's like, that was the most moving worship time I've ever had. Yep. Like we all have that story, right? So I think that kind of tells you right there. What do you think?
Sure. So I guess what I think is when I see people not worshiping, like violently with their hands or flailing themselves around, or they have flags or a shofar or however you worship. When I see them not raising their hands or engaging in any way, it does make me feel like what I've done isn't good. They're not interested. And I need to remind myself constantly that it's not about me. It's about the one we are here to worship together. I can't see what's going on in their lives. I have no idea how the week went for them. Sorry, I didn't get a chance to greet everybody at the door and ask them how their week went. We couldn't have a 30-minute conversation. You know me. When I ask you how you're doing, I really mean, how are you doing? Not just like, hello.
It's going to be a 2-hour conversation.
It will be if it needs to be. And so I can't do that. So I don't know. And I can't assume that they're just like super stoked to be here, all day, every day. We're at church. Oh my gosh. Yes. Like
we cheer for the Super Bowl. Why don't we cheer for Jesus that way?
That's right. Yeah. We amen.
The Super Bowl is a big event.
It's a very big thing. But it leads me to the second point more so. It's like, I think anymore that when people aren't really raising their hands too much or engaging, it's not your fault. Well, okay, well, maybe kind of is. Potentially, there's maybe too many new songs. Let's say you play one song once a month or something. That's 3 Sundays they didn't hear that song.
Right.
But the team...
Or maybe they didn't show up.
Yes,
for 2 of those.
There you go. Yeah. In the summertime, especially here. Yeah. Man, see ya.
It's a miracle every time someone walks in the door.
There's somebody here. Yes. You're not. We just need to go to Mount Baker and start doing church.
Right. Bunch of sun worshipers here.
That's right. SON, right, brother? There's so many songs in rotation a lot of time, and the band. Yeah, they. I think we were talking about something similar to this the other day, and you were saying like when the band doesn't have an opportunity to actually know the song, like to actually digest it and really know it, versus like, all right, we've played this song before, let's have a quick reminder. But you're not really knowing the song. Yeah. You're just kind of reminding yourself of it, and you're like, oh yeah, I can play this one. And so you'd think you don't got to practice it too much.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday rolls around and you're staring at your chords.
Right.
You're staring down at your pedals the whole time because you're nervous. I stare at my pedals too, but not because I'm nervous, because I'm worshiping that way. Not the pedals, but it's just how I do it. But anyway, a lot of time when you do stare down, it's because you're nervous or you don't know what's going on. You don't want to mess up. There's not a lot of confidence there. So how much better would it be for the congregation, your band, and your budget for the year if you do tracks to cut it down to like 20 songs or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
But just maybe even 25. Since there's 52 weeks, let's go to 26, right? Just cut it in half, right? What's going to be bad about that? I think everyone's going to know the songs. When that song comes on again, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, I know this one. This is great. I don't need to think about it. You go to a concert, any concert, a band that you love. How many times have you listened to, what's his name? Ryan Adams?
Yeah.
How many times have you listened to?
Many times. I know those songs.
Yes. You don't even think about it.
It's wild to me how, like, when you hear an artist that can play like 2 notes and you know what song it is, and you're like, they just played a C chord.
Right.
But I know which one it is.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So we go to these concerts all the time. Where are the lyrics?
Right.
But at church, there's lyrics, because I've worked in churches that were like, hey, we need a new song every 2 weeks. Why? Well, we got to stay on the cutting edge of music. Why? Like when The Stand by Hillsong comes on, everyone freaks out.
Right.
Like not a rock concert or some junk, it's like, I'll stand.
Well, right. Because it hits something, right?
They've heard it so many times. And so I don't think personally that it's a you problem. Well, kind of, because you've put too many songs onto the band and to the congregation. If you're not going to actively be teaching those songs every week, like, hey, we haven't sang this one in 3 weeks. Let's go over the chorus again. Let's rearrange it so that way it's not just like the song as it is, and lead with the chorus so people can be like, oh, yeah, that's right. I remember this one. Because 3 weeks ago, they heard that song for the first time or something in maybe a month or two. And now you're like, yeah, everyone knows this.
Yeah.
No, they've heard it twice.
Right.
No, they don't know it.
Yeah, they're not listening to it all week.
No, not like the band is, not like the worship leader especially. So I really do think it's kind of you've put on too many songs. Now we're just like, all right, music happens.
Right.
Another song I don't know. Oh, yeah, I'll sing this one. Something about pride, passion, something about praise, and, yada, yada, and I love God. And all right, well, then we sit down, listen to the sermon, we'll stand up, and then we'll sing that one song we do know. And that's when a lot of evangelical type churches will have their altar call moment, right? With a song that everybody knows. People get a little bit more emotional. People are like, yes, I want to respond to this message this way. So it's kind of like a formula. I get it. But man, use less songs, I think, is the answer. Sorry, that was a very long. Well, I could have just said that.
Well, we'll just edit it.
Yeah. Use less.
Use less songs. Next. No, I think you're right though. Like, and I think it shows up in a number of ways. You bring in some old song that everybody knows, right? And it's some song from the 70s or the 80s.
Sure. Yep.
And everybody just engages right away.
Yep.
It's not because that song is so much better.
No.
Than every other song. Sometimes you're like, wow, that they got away with that lyric. You're like, that is kind of dumb. But but it works.
Yep.
And they know it. Right. And I think it's the same thing with musicians, right? Like with worship artistry, we're always talking about like, hey, we're helping you develop confidence. We want you to learn this song in a way that you get to go that next step. Right. You actually can be passionate about how you're playing and how you're singing, because you're owning that. Like that's now part of your testimony. Correct. You're not just like thinking about it, how does this work? And it's like, we expect that of ourselves, but then we don't think about the congregation at all. Right. Yeah. And it's like, I keep trying to figure out, I'm not there yet, so I don't have the answer to this. So if you got any ideas, let me know. I would love to get to the place where we have some Sundays at least where we just don't have any words on the screen. Yeah. And that everyone knows the songs well enough. And they're part of our normal catalog. It's not just like, oh, now we only do like, Awesome God or something. Sure. That everybody, no, it's a time when we all have those songs so in us because we've learned them, because we've spent time on them, that, hey, let's just get rid of the screen. Right. It's kind of like chord charts for the band, right? It's different if you can sing without trying to figure out the words and what's happening.
It is, yeah.
It is really different, right? And I do think that kind of next step of where we can engage on a different level comes when we know what we're doing. We kind of remove that obstacle of having to learn something. Yeah, and so not saying I realize we're like shooting ourselves in the foot right now because we run a subscription service that teaches new songs. Yeah, right. But that's okay. That is like okay. if it helps your church. Yeah. By all means, do it. Yep. But yeah, it's just something I think that we need to be mindful of. Yep. And maybe if we did kind of slim it down a little bit, maybe that would offer more opportunity for people to engage on a different level.
I think so. And I think too, talking about shooting ourselves in the foot a little bit, I don't know if it is. It's just a mindset. It's like, if you want to do 20 new songs, okay, great. We got them. But only do those 20 songs. You know what I mean?
Make a set list.
Yes. Then just play those into the ground, and now they're not new to your congregation. They're newer. Yeah, there's new songs. That's what I know about the Christian industry. There's like 1 billion new songs every day. Yeah. So there's a lot. So yeah, I think the point is you can do new songs. You don't have to do old bangers. You don't have to do all these do what your church responds to. Right. And I think, your church could easily, the way you talk about it, right? Easily go a Sunday. I'm
lying all the time.
Easily go a Sunday without the lyrics because of your song Scars. You sing that at church. You guys could easily do that one, I think, and everybody would still just yes.
I think if you just get the first line of the verse, they all kind of flow. That's where it starts. It's like if I can just give you that. Yep. Here it is.
That's right.
Line. Yep. I think that could kind of help. The other thing that happens too, I think when you do limit the amount of songs, a lot of times worship teams are like, I don't get to get creative at all. And it's like, well, actually,
that's where you can be more creative.
When you know a song in your soul, that's when you really start messing around.
That's right.
So we'll repeat a lot of songs at Mosaic. It's not the big Mosaic, my little tiny Mosaic here in Bellingham. Just a little Mosaic. But we'll do a song 1 million times, and we'll do it different almost every time because everybody already knows the chords. Sure. So now we're doing it with this band arrangement, or now we're doing it this way, or people know how to work with it because it's so ingrained. Like the basic pieces of it are there. We know how to do it. Yep. So therefore, it kind of gives you opportunity to be creative.
Yep. Well, it's fun. Just a side quest, really quick. A lot of really famous, popular songs, out in the secular world. A lot of the riffs that are very popular, known to us, were just practice riffs for the guitar player or something. Right. And they're like, man, do that. And they're like, this dumb thing? Right. They're like, what are you talking about? This is
Sweet Child of Mine, famously just an exercise.
Right. Was it really?
Yeah. He was just playing it, doing an exercise.
I didn't know that. But that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. It's just they're exercises. They're a warm-up. They're a practice. And people are like, that's nuts. Do that more. And you're like, no, that's stupid. That's the easiest thing I've ever done in my life. Well, it's really cool. And that's kind of how it can be for worship people too. Worship teams, okay, let's say you learned,
Graves in the
Goodbye
Garden.
Yesterday.
Goodbye Yesterday.
So hold on. So let's say you're learning Goodbye Yesterday or something, a newer song, very popular it seems. I do like it. And you just learned it, right? You just learned it to how they play it and got through the set and you're like, that was a lot of fun. That was really great. Now, how much more fun can it be if you owned that thing? Right. And then you took something that you do that you think is mundane and stupid, like Sweet Child of Mine, warm up, and then add that to the song. And it's got to fit, it's got to work in the song. But now how much fun was that? Right. How much more ownership do you have of that song now? And how much less do you need the chord charts? Okay, so when people were trying to take chord charts away from me, it was called music stands at the time. Can't have stands on the stage. Yeah. I was so mad. They're like, I was like, why? Why do I need this not in front of me? They're like, well, you need to engage the audience. I go, I'm not going to anyway. That's just who I am. Yep. I'm not going to. So you're making me play bad now. You're going to make me miss my chords and do all this stuff. And, you know, for a while I did play kind of bad and whatever. I ended up learning that you didn't need those things and it can be more fun. But I think it was just the way they went about it for me. If they would have just given me the option, like, hey, you can have this music stand, but you need to work your way out of it. It's kind of like training wheels for your bike.
Yeah.
You can have them and use them, man. Have the bumpers up on your bowling alley lane too, you know? But eventually you do need to take those away.
Those are great examples.
Well, there you go.
I'm using those.
Do it, man. But does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I wish they would have given me that way versus just like, it's done, gone, see ya. I was like, you're literally just going to make me play bad now. I don't have time because I was a pastor. I had a full-time job outside of that. And then I had all these other aspirations in life. And I was like, these worship songs are so easy. I don't need that. I got the chords, you know. Well, turns out if I just learned them actually, not just practice the song, that's a big deal too, right? Let's take another side quest. Don't just practice, learn.
Right.
Learn the song. Like, get on Worship Artistry and understand the song.
Right. Yeah, it's not I struggle to explain this to people sometimes because they're like, okay, so it's like an app and I use it on Sunday. And you're like, no. You should not be using Worship Artistry on Sunday.
No.
You should be using it all through the week so that you don't need any apps on
That's
Sunday.
Right. Yep. Yeah, exactly.
That's the idea.
It's a training tool. Like I was learning Goodbye yesterday on from a guy named Jason Housema on Worship Artistry.
I hear he's pretty good.
Guy's crazy. He looks like he's a teenager. But no, for real, I was using the app to the website to learn the song, and it actually made me learn the song in like minutes because the way you were explaining it to me was just like, here's these parts, do these things, and I wasn't worried about then the chords.
Yeah,
I knew where they were and I knew what they were, but like I was only worried about these parts and like, oh yeah, I just need to nail part one again or whatever. And it just made it so much easier. And it made me, I got to practice it, but I got to learn it and then understand it and have so much more confidence than going in to that worship night I was in. And it seemed like I was the only one who understood that song. And I felt really great.
You can usually tell the Worship Artistry members on a worship team.
That's right. Yep.
Let's just go ahead and say that.
It is very, very true. Actually, we've had some people send some videos in. We're like, we can tell. We can tell you're part of Worship Artistry.
Yeah, but that brings us to our third point. It's like, how do you practice passion when you're not feeling it?
Right, sure.
Right? But the truth is, there's different kinds of worship, right? When we come into the gathering, sometimes we're just being obedient.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes we're very engaged. Sometimes we can't wait to play this song. Sometimes our heart is right there.
Right.
And sometimes it's not, right? But I do think that part of it is just showing up.
Sure.
And I think practicing with passion is kind of part of the deal.
Sure.
Yep. I know for myself, when I'm learning a song or when I'm writing a song or whatever, like I know I finally have it when I don't have to think about it anymore.
Sure.
And I think a lot of times we have I'm sitting at home and I'm like just sitting at my desk working on the song, right? Well, I don't know why I think that I'm going to sit there and be like, all right, I got it. And then that's the position I'm always going to be in. And then I'm going to go to church. That's exactly how I say
right,
like
yeah,
this. Right?
On
it's
your
like yep, just here I am.
To worship.
Yeah,
here I am to bow down. Here I am.
But yeah, that's how I'm practicing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why I think I'm going to now be in front of people or be on a platform or in my case, be at the center,
sure.
Kind of in the middle of the room or whatever. And I'm going to go in a totally different environment and suddenly just become a different person.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But what I do find is when I'm practicing and when I really do feel like I have it, I actually keep going. So I'll stand up and I'll actually try to worship with the songs that I'm playing.
Gotcha.
And that's when I start to loosen up. I'm not like I said, I'm not a big hand raiser either. I usually have my guitar in my hand. So,
yeah, it's crazy.
I'm not one of those tappy tap guys.
Playing the notes and your hands are up here. And
it's unbelievable. But yeah, that but I do start moving. I do start expressing myself more because I already know the song now. And now I'm actually intentionally engaging in my practice and I'm worshiping with my practice.
Right.
I think that's a huge thing, because then when I get in that environment, I've almost like trained myself to engage in a different way.
Yep. Yeah, I don't necessarily go that far, but when I learn songs and I know them finally, I do put on my guitar strap and I'll practice going through if I need to change the overdrive or a reverb or whatever. But then I will eventually shut off like my part or whatever. And then just play it all. I'll stand.
Yeah.
I'll be playing and going through all of the pedal transitions, whatever you want to call them. And then I know it so much more because I've put myself in that kind of like state of, well, this is basically kind of what I'm doing on a Sunday. I don't get so deep into it that I'm like actually worshiping or anything. Maybe
you are just in a different way.
Yeah, maybe. Well, okay. So this whole video, I don't feel the passion, right? So I am. You're right, but it's just I take my time to really learn it, so that way on Sunday I feel so much more connected to people, and like. I feel like I'm a part of the congregation, not just on the platform anymore.
I think one more thing that I'll throw out there is something that I used to do all the time. I still do it, just in different ways. But before I start leading worship, I kind of have some kind of like little mental trigger ritual or something to just help me remember what I'm doing there.
Sure.
I think a lot of times like prayer is like a really good one.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I often find we at Mosaic, we do this thing. It's actually, we pulled it from Godly Play, which is like our kids program, but they call it the prayer of 3 deep breaths.
3 deep breaths.
Yes. And so you do it in the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, and in the name of the Holy Spirit. You do a deep breath in between each one. And it is wild how centering that is. And a reminder of like, okay, this is why we're here.
Is every Sunday special? Every worship service, every service you have, is it special?
I think it's sacred.
Okay.
And so I think when we gather,
sure,
I think that's always a sacred time.
Sure. Yeah.
I also know that we as humans sometimes get just kind of in a rhythm of things. Some people find liturgy just like so meaningful, which is just like repetition. And hey, we always do this. We all know what to do and we always do this. And sometimes for some people, that's a real way to connect. Other times, some people are like, I just feel like I'm doing the same thing all the time. I'm not getting any different sense, And so I think doing different things at different times, finding different ways to worship, I think is valuable. For myself, like obviously I connect with God very much through music.
Sure.
Not everybody's that way.
Right.
Some people, they connect in silence, or some people connect in reading, or saying, reading together, praying. It's like I talk to God all the time. I practice the presence of God. Like my wife's a prayer. It's like that's how she connects with God, right? And it's different for her, right? And so I think when we're doing those different kinds of things, sometimes we think of them as, oh, this is special, or like, yeah, this is this thing. It's like, well, no, we're just doing things a different way.
Sure.
But I think that when we're gathered and we're worshiping together, as opposed to worshiping at home by ourselves or just in our day to day,
sure,
I do think there's something sacred about that. And so in that sense, it's special.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that it's like this thing is more worshipful than this thing. I think they're all just different ways. Does that answer
no,
your
I
question?
mean, whatever the answer is it's yours. I'm with you. I think it's silly though to be like, no, we'll save this for a worship night, not just some Sunday. Because I've been in those conversations too, where just Sundays become mundane. I think it's interesting though that we do have like a hierarchy to like what is more sacred or what is more special, and how can this will really attract people.
I think that's not a great way to think though. I had a professor in college. Shout out Dr. Grimes. Grimes.
Oh, sorry.
He was the best. But I remember a guy in our class, it was a youth ministry class, and he was just like, well, some churches, they're just dead, what do you do with that? And he got so mad.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. And he was just like, wherever believers are gathering to worship, it is not dead.
Wow.
It is alive. Like, just because it's not the way that you expect it to be. It's like those people are gathering to worship God.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that is a live, sacred moment.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? And I think we're the ones that kind of screw it up and
Absolutely,
go and start just treating it as mundane and like, I'll just phone it in for this thing.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
It's just youth group again, or it's just
just do what we had. Yeah, just I don't know, I guess do this one.
Yeah.
The end, you know? Like we're not just trying to get through it. But I do think that like as a worship team member or as a worship pastor or whatever, like if you're starting to sense that attitude in your heart, like that's a flare.
Sure.
That it's like, all right, I'm not thinking about this the way that I need to. And why am I not thinking about it this way? Like, where am I, you know, is this the right place for me right now?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, that's good.
What's going on?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
It's a good little symptom to go.
Yeah.
If we're going, well, I shouldn't think that. It's like, okay, but you are. So
but you are.
What's going on?
It might
like,
not be your first time either.
Why? You know? So
exactly.
Dive
No,
in.
I get, you know, it's just, we like to question things as, well, you and me, I do especially, but
the question
like,
why is a
it's
big one.
It is. It's like, why did you do this? It's wild, but no, I love those thoughts. And, you know, what are you guys thinking in the comments? Let us know. Is there something you do that when you don't, I guess, feel like, you know, I don't want to raise my hand right now. Am I less spiritual? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you are. you stink right now. No, but for real, have you ever had those moments? I know I have. I think what you just said, what Dr. Rhymes or
Dr.
whatever?
Grimes.
Yep. My bad. I loved that. I really did. Just like wherever believers are gathered. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
You know, we're worshiping him. He's getting exalted.
Yeah, that church is not dead.
It's not dead. Yeah. No, that's really good. It's just our perspective of what it should be. And like a lot of the big Instagram, TikToks or YouTube accounts, they will show you what they're doing. And a lot of people like that. And then we think we got to do that. Yeah. I think that's going to be something until we die, right? Like, oh, wow, we got to do this because they're doing this. Wow.
Right. Yeah, there's always that like copycat thing, right? Like, and that looks like we frame that as success.
Right. Yeah.
We look at that kind of, oh, look at how passionate they are.
Yes.
Right? That word, like how passionate they are. It's like, well, you know what? I'm feeling a lot of passion when I'm just sitting in my living room playing my guitar.
Exactly.
Like it's not any less passionate.
100%. It's
maybe
it's
a little less performative, but
maybe you're right. I think there's a lot of good questions in there. So, what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. If you got any questions about what we said, please ask us. You know, we wanna interact with you. If you think we've said something that's off the wall, ask us about it. Don't just assume. And we like to do that with you as well. If you say something in the comments that's a little wild to us, we're going to be like, well, what did you mean by that? Would you expand on that thought a little bit more? Please do.
Yeah. The goal with these podcasts is always to stoke conversation.
Yeah, always.
Stoke thought. We're not the end all be all.
No.
You know, we just want to be kind of open-ended. And so, you know, maybe it kind of gives you something to talk to your team about. Maybe your pastor about.
Yeah,
know?
Exactly.
Or to yell at us in the comments. And of course, as always, like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that stuff.
Please.
And, you know, if you actually want to get good at playing and you want to feel really confident, worshipartistry.com does have over 700 song tutorials. Right. Those are for Monday through Saturday.
That's right.
And maybe they can help you out.
Yep.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Bye.